Coming up, taking a bite out of the Georgia peach. No news is good news in the MLR, and if you don't get out of Lev Kelter's way, you'll wish you did. We are going to look at a close one in Batumi. We breathe a little easier because we have no bad news to report here at home, and the PWR powers on. Can the Eagles finish the autumn with a win? Stick around to find out. This is the Maul Street Journal. Hello and welcome to the Maul Street Journal, the podcast that brings you all the latest news and reviews for all things American rugby. We are part of the Global Gainline Network and can be found on all your usual platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. So if you haven't already, give us a like or a subscribe, tell a couple of friends about us, or if you want to really do us a favor, develop a comprehensive pathway system that will allow our young talent to thrive and grow the sport here at home. Seriously, we're begging you. This is episode 18. I'm your host for today, David Lawrence, along with Kolya, who's coming to us live from the lovely Japanese tea garden in San Antonio. Kolya, how you doing?
I'm good. This week had a camp for my oldest daughter. It's a special camp. She was born with a genetic syndrome, 22q11.2 microdeletion syndrome. And every year there's a camp that takes place in San Antonio because San Antonio has the world's only disability-friendly, etc. Park, like theme park, and it's got its own camp and stuff called Morgan's Wonderland.
Wow.
That's lovely.
I didn't know anything about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think she's breaking into my room right now.
To come tell you how much she loved it. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
Also with us, of course, live from the Evergreen State, it's Julia. Julia, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. You know what? Anytime I'm in Washington, I'm happy.
Haha, nailed it in one. As always, we like to start with our question of the week. We have a bit of a funny one this week. We're all Americans, and we love our friends over in the UK. However, we feel obligated to point out, a couple of things that people tend to get wrong over there. We do this in the spirit, of course, of sharing. We hope that you all are able to carry on with your lives in a less convoluted way after we explain just a couple of things to you. To give an example, I'd like to point out that there is no such word as lackadaisical. The word lax exists and the word lackadaisical exists, but y'all have a habit of conflating those two words into one nonsense word. Knowing is half the battle, my friends, and you're welcome. Julia, what useful tidbit do you have for our friends across the pond?
They're going to be so mad at you for saying that. You gave the fact and then you immediately said y'all, and they'll be like, oh, so about mushing together words.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be like, well, actually, our contraction still makes sense. It's still grammatically correct. They're going to fight us. What's really going to be great is that mine... Same vein, but mine is almost kind of cheating because I will say this. I don't know for sure that it is a Great British thing. I just know that the only ones that I've heard doing this, and this is, by the way, completely based on listening to rugby broadcasts. So this may just be constrained to the 2 or 3 broadcasters that I hear, or the commentators. But along those same lines, word usage is important. Idiom usage, also important. When you say mercurial, you mean meteoric. Mercurial means up and down because of Mercury, the guy, the planet. It's not always in the same place. Sometimes it's really close, sometimes it's really far away. Meteoric means just up like a meteor. Great mnemonic for using it. What I do know, if anything, is that people in the UK love it when Americans correct their English, their grammar. They love it. They love it when you get like dry about it because they're like, that's our thing. Yeah, they love it. They're going to really love these two because they're going to immediately tell us all of the ways that isn't actually.
Oh, yes. But, well, we just want to foster, respect for the English language.
Thank you so much for inventing it. We fixed it.
Kolya, you've gone in a slightly different direction. What do you have to share with our UK brethren?
Yes. So let me level with y'all. A trip of more than 30 minutes is not too long.
That's insane. We want you to know that that's insane. We understand that the island is very small. Do you remember
Kolya,
it's an
you
island?
live in Texas. You live in a place
you
that has
live in
actual
the middle
scale.
of Texas.
So what is a long trip for you?
So
considering you're in
So
San Antonio.
if I am in central Texas in San Antonio, it takes more time to go to El Paso in the far west of my state than it does to go to
Go
Mexico
to
City.
Mexico. Yep. CDMX.
I have friends who weekly go drive down to the border, and that's like a 4.5 hour drive.
Oh, for sure.
When I lived in Wales, I used to live in Sketty. Our
And you would
rat
go?
friends can probably tell you or should know exactly where Sketty is. I would walk from Sketty to central Swansea to Swansea's train station, take a train to Cardiff, and then walk from Cardiff to Cardiff Uni for work 3 or 4 times a week when I lived there. It is possible, y'all.
We're gonna have to get Saucepans and Sidesteps to come in and like give us that. Or Rat Pod, half of which edits our podcast, can just put a little disclaimer in that they're like, these guys are wrong.
Part of it is just weird American things too. Like Julia said a great thing in our group chat about almost all Americans would much rather drive for 8 hours than get on a plane for 2.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure what that says about us, but it's so true.
Well, and see, but what I really liked about that was we are in 3 distinct. Well, it's really hard to call our area distinct, you and me, David. But but if you're an American, yes. If you're anywhere else, no. If you look at it on a map, we look close together. If you ask an American, we are not close together. Boston and DC will insist that they are not close together. However, I have dated somebody in Boston, which is an 8-hour drive from DC. Regularly driving up 8 hours. That's fine. I will get on the Acela, which if you're in like, a different rugby country, you guys have functioning public transport. We don't. But we do have the Acela. We have the Acela corridor on which David and I are both in. We're both opposite ends of it. But it also gets you to New York City and Philadelphia. However, I will 10 hours is my cut for I'm going to start thinking about driving. I will drive Chicago. I have no problem with that. That's 11 hours.
Oh, yeah. After the Free Jacks won the final in Chicago, Cam Davidovitz and his whole family were like, okay, time to get into the camper and drive home. And they did.
Hike it on back. I did it in a not super functional Civic. You can do it.
Yeah. I have driven from Nashville, Tennessee to Philadelphia in one day.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
My best friend Amy
one time.
was dating somebody in Miami, so 4 times a year she would hop in her truck and drive to Miami, make it in one trip. But the funniest thing, of course, though, if you make that trip, you go and go and go, and then you get to the Florida border, and you're like, I made it to Florida. Oh, I'm
no. Now you have the rest of Florida. But still, is your friend in Boston?
Yes.
And it was Miami in one, so that's like 18 hours.
Yeah, 18 to 22.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, 18 if you drive it like I do.
Either way, I'm sure all our friends will be very grateful for these insights and definitely won't scheme up passive-aggressive ways to retaliate. Meanwhile, our tradition is to start with some news. Coley, it sounds like nothing really came across your desk this week, though.
Yes, so the main bit of news is that we still have all the MLR teams we had last week.
Yes. We did it! 1 week! Yes, man.
I did have one mini tidbit, but we'd again have to expand American rugby to include North, Central, and South America. On Saturday, Colombia beat Mexico in Medellin. That was on Saturday, and essentially a friendly, but it was a good one. Los Tucanes won 34-25. Mexico went up for the first and only time close to intermission, but Colombia got it right back and never let go. Sud-America rugby is on the rise, and this was a great example of how these relationships are broadening and strengthening. It's frankly a great example of the kinds of things the USA should be doing right now. Great stuff.
And for our rugby kit lovers, Mexico's rugby kit is beautiful.
Sick. It's sick every year. I have, in fact, Colia, we became friends like right after I entered this mania, but I entered like a several month mania, and I do have a friend. Oh, she wouldn't listen to this. She's a soccer person, but who is Mexican American. She's from SoCal, but lives in Florida now, and was heading into Mexico because I could not get Rugby Mexico. I could not get Mexican Rugby Federation to answer my emails, even in Spanish. But because I was like, I will buy one off someone's back. I need one.
So I can hook you up because the place that makes them is in Texas.
It is in Texas. I do know
Yes.
it's in Texas, and they
Yes.
were telling me that, and they were like, call, or they were like, email these guys, and of course that went to a black hole. But
Mexico
anyway,
outsources their garment manufacture to the United States?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Didn't know that.
Listen, we are. Oh no, there's no way I can take that in any direction that wouldn't just end up in all of us being sad. We are. We're getting counter tariffed. It's fine.
Anyway, speaking of USA Rugby, as we almost kind of were, our men, they had the second of their November tests just this past weekend. If you listened last week, you'll recall we had pretty dire forecasts for the outcome against Georgia. Kolya, I imagine you were far less perturbed watching this one than you were last week. Tell us about this fixture, if you would.
Yes. I was much happier with this one. It was really, really close at halftime. We actually pulled ahead after the half for a little bit before falling apart. I was really impressed by Don Bisag, our college
Yes.
kid.
Yes,
He was really good.
I was gonna say that was my man of the match.
Yeah, and then I really liked what Luke Carty did. I think he
Yes.
should be our second number 10 while or instead of Hilsenbeck or whoever else they try to trot out there.
McGinty. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think my favorite moment, just for laughs, was the first kick of the game where Rufus McLean just kicked it sideways for no reason.
Was really good. And then
Yeah.
I do like that everybody online was scrambling. Oh, not Americans, but a bunch of
Yes.
British people were trying to defend him. I was like, it's okay. You don't have to. We're not
Really?
gonna.
No,
We're not
no,
gonna.
we're
We're
not
not
going to.
gonna.
And then
Did he
my
shortly
least,
thereafter
however,
text the ball and
Oh.
demand to
my
know where it had gone?
yeah, my least favorite kick of the match, however, was at the very, very end of the match
Hmm.
at 79-31,
I was gonna say really kicking you when you're done.
where we decided to box kick down by
With
6.
the 6 seconds up, yeah.
And I have no idea if that was the scrum half's call or if it was a call from the sideline. But it was absolutely ridiculous. I was screaming at the TV, and I don't normally do that.
I was gonna say
It had to have been a brain fart, right?
to Colia whisper, like I told you last time. This time he cursed. He never does that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
had to have been a brain fart. It was just situational unawareness. Like
I was
this
gonna say also
this was the
this
extra
also
time out for
happens
Michigan, right?
similarly. This also happens similarly in a women's match over the World Cup. Like
Yeah.
you freeze.
Yeah. Just why? Why?
Why? Sometimes your body, well, I speak as if I've ever kicked live in a game, but I feel like probably your body is just like, I would like this to be over.
Yeah.
Mm.
Kick it out.
Yeah. But that leads into my main criticism of the US during this match is that Scott Lawrence went with a 7-1 split in this match.
Did.
Yeah, expand on that. You were extolling whatever the opposite
were all
of a virtue
questioning it
is,
for sure.
extolling
Yes.
the curse.
Yes. So a 7-1 split works if your backs have stamina. And ours
Go
didn't.
on.
Ours were dying on their feet at about the 65th minute.
Yeah.
And when we box kicked at 79-30, Georgia didn't just catch it and kick it out. They just ran around all of our dead tired defenders and scored a pretty good try.
Yeah.
It was kind of
That made it
asking
look
for it.
much worse than
Yeah.
the match really should have been. Because we just had no one left who could catch anyone on Georgia who could run.
No.
I mean, we've talked before about, I mean, luckily the last time we really seriously discussed it, we were worried that it wasn't a 40-minute team. Getting to 65 minutes, and I agree it was really like 60, 65
Yes.
that they were puffing. No, you're absolutely right. All I was going to say is like, if we want to do this constructively, like that's improvement. It was really thrilling that all the momentum wasn't lost after the half. However,
Yeah.
the decline was fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then another thing is this match showed us, and as did the Samoa match, showed us that the US can be a pretty good tier 2 rugby nation. But did we show that against Scotland? Absolutely not. Did
Not
we
for one
show
minute.
that in any of the other matches in the Pacific Nations Cup
I was gonna say
prior to the Samoa match?
the ones that really counted, no.
No,
I didn't see it.
no, we didn't.
Well, no, that's what every
Yeah,
analyst and critic said. No.
yeah, yeah.
No.
So what is Scott Lawrence doing with his man management?
Yeah.
Because there's
We've wondered
something
aloud
going
before.
wrong.
We've wondered
Where
aloud before about who is doing load management. I don't mean in the practice sense. I mean in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to
playing
more on
sense.
that in a minute. Julia, did you expect this kind of turnaround for from Scott Lawrence's charges? Like, what did we do differently? Are these real building blocks that you're seeing right now? It was obviously an improved performance. Are you feeling good about it?
That was gonna be kind of my overarching theme. I was and like I really wanted to kind of lead off on that as just like it's really a good sign. Like the first 40 was definitely solid, absolutely, and great because honestly, we have been at places even like in the short time this podcast has been around, we've been in places where we're like, we're not sure we could do that. We're not sure that we can draw consistency even like play to play to play, let alone for several minutes sustained. So that's great. We're still relying on a few standout players. One is super young, which is great. It's great news. But I mean, the joke that we started off with like is only half a joke. It's bringing into question our development, and especially against the backdrop of what we're learning with MLR. In terms of, I mean, I shouldn't have gone that far up, like 10,000 feet above. In terms of this performance, no, I was getting ahead of myself. In terms of this performance, yes, improvement, great. I'm happy. The question is going to be when we get into a place where we're playing week over week, whether that's, I guess we can't wait for the World Cup, but we need more performances than just one. I don't know. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to say that like this is a renaissance. It doesn't feel that way yet, but it would be great. It's
Coley, I feel like I cut you off. What, did you have something else on this?
Oh, no. Yeah, and just it also doesn't help us when like it helps the players that we have players playing in France.
helps
But
them.
it doesn't really help the US during these internationals because French clubs don't like letting
Yeah.
French players go.
No breaks.
So we
also,
have some players. One of them scored a try this past weekend in the Pro de
it also doesn't
Provence,
really matter when you still never play together. Like the whole thing is that is it like ultimately the teams that play best are the ones who are all playing in the same or mostly are playing in the same competition. If you look at South Africa, if you look at France, I mean, yes, a few players go somewhere and like do little cameos in other leagues, but mostly they all play together.
Yeah, it's interesting. We can't possibly go down this entire tangent, but like because I've read a lot of stuff from great analysts who always say that's it, consistency and that coherence of playing together is the single most important ingredient to success. But then I would say, well, but then I would point at Argentina and I would say those players are never playing with each other except when it comes to tests. It's very similar to our own
However,
situation, and yet that works great.
They're also incredibly inconsistent.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they are also not reliable in the way that we want. That we are clamoring for reliability.
Like,
I feel like I'm sorry. I feel like us Argentina stacked against each other. Argentina has more exceptional athletes than we do. Sorry. But.
Yeah. I love watching Argentina play, but every time you watch them that there's a 50-50 chance that they're all going to just fall apart for no reason.
It's almost more predictable than that in that it's good game, bad game. It's almost always good game, bad game. If they have a bad loss and you're about to play them, watch out. But if they kick your butt
about USA
next week,
woo,
no.
Right now, USA is following
that would imply that
trend.
out of 4 games we had 2 good, and I haven't seen that.
We had 1 good, and it still wasn't good.
And then,
well, as we said,
I'm still incredibly confused on some of our players who seem to be completely left out in the cold by Lawrence.
Mm.
For example, we have a fullback who is an actual fullback who was in the MLR championship last year or last season, and he does not get a sniff.
I
Matt
think during the
Schumacher.
Pacific Nations
Yeah.
Cup, Mitch had a couple howlers, and I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
if
yeah. Mitch wasn't great. We used Toby Fricker this last match at fullback when that is not his natural position.
no.
But we've got Max Schumacher just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
We we have some really brilliant young talent like Peyton Wall,
Mm.
really good winger for Chicago, who has been brought into a couple of training camps, but doesn't get looked at.
I was gonna say I don't remember him actually playing. He's not capped, is he?
No, no, he's not kept.
No.
Like they've brought him into some training camps
That was what I was
as
thinking.
like
Was
part of the traveling squad, but they haven't capped him yet. And he is one of the most exciting talents in
I was
MLR.
gonna say now is the time for
Yeah.
2027 TikTok.
I would
Yeah.
have much preferred seeing him get a cap than see Rufus McLean out there, and
Yeah.
not just for those reasons.
Not just for
Mhm.
those reasons. No. Also because I mean, I know I don't know the guy other than the horrible allegations and the little bit that I've watched him this year, but like not overly impressing me. I'm
Mhm.
Yeah,
not.
Peyton Wall has a higher ceiling than Rufus McLean.
Definitely.
That's what I'm saying is that like, and somebody in the pipeline, no matter what, is going to have a higher ceiling, and that's
Yeah,
not because of the guy's character. It's because like factually,
he's
the
not
ceiling won't
great.
have been touched yet. Right.
In the end, we did lose as predicted, but we scored more than twice as many points as even my optimistic guess, losing 43-30 in Batumi. As you already kind of mentioned, with minutes to go, we did have a legitimate chance to pull ahead. It was
Yeah.
just down 6. That kick, giving it away, just here you go, you can just take this. And as you said, they just ran it in for what looked like an easy try. Wouldn't
It
have
was
been if
super.
anyone could have still, had wind in their lungs at
Run.
that point.
Yeah.
Toby Fricker got over the line. Dom Bisag, he got himself a brace. Luke Carty, you already mentioned him. He looked incredible, perfect off the boot, even added a drop goal late. That was really exciting. Kolya, you described our defense last week as being like wet paper. What's your assessment
Yes.
this week?
Much better.
Dryer
Like,
paper.
Paper
yes,
towel.
yes,
Cardboard.
yes, yes. First half, we were pretty good.
Yeah.
I could actually see what we were trying to do.
Mm.
Second half, our lungs went out and it kind of went back into what we saw with Scotland.
That comes down to conditioning too, was also something I wanted to touch on, which I only say that because like almost as an excuse. Like it's not just the structures we do or don't have in place. Also,
Yes.
also it's hard. Hard to stay that fit.
Mhm.
Hard to stay Georgia fit.
Yes.
Either of you have any final thoughts on this one? I swear, when I think it's Kvitadze, he scored a try only 2 minutes in. I strongly considered walking away from the TV, but I'm glad I stuck with it, much as did our man.
Mhm.
I think it's a good way to end it.
Yeah. Yeah. I I am enjoying this, or like we've got Georgia, or we just had Georgia, we've got Romania next. I'm enjoying this tour of pretty places that we're
I
going
was
on.
gonna say
Yeah.
and tours of places Coley and I love.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the Julian Coley hour.
If I could pick, I would be like, can I be the captain of the touring side of the Cayman Islands?
Yeah, exactly. I know. No, but I mean,
Yeah.
you joke, but I do think about it a
Yeah.
lot because when I talk to non-rugby people and they're like, "Oh, so they just like go to Fiji sometimes?" I'm like, "Yeah, but then you like get brutally beaten, like bodily." But yeah,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. You are scared the whole time you're there.
Yes, yes. So
I'd rather take a beating in the sunshine.
yeah, yeah. So speaking of that,
Yes.
there's this great book on my bookshelf behind me about it's a Welsh rugby oral history
Mm.
All right.
called Behind the Dragon.
Mhm.
Oh, I think I have
And
that
it
one.
talks about a bunch of like the 1980s, 1990s tours of the Pacific.
Yep.
And it is just laugh out loud funny, some of the things that are going on when you just have a prop getting up and just punching people in the face and the ref is like, play on.
Yeah. Hey guys, can we settle down a little bit?
Different rugby.
Yes.
Well, before we move on, I just want to take a moment to remind all of you that liking and subscribing is the best way to help us grow. If you could tell a friend or two, that would be smashing. We are part of the Global Gainline Network. We're incredibly grateful for your ongoing support. We're growing steadily on YouTube. We remain your one-stop shop for all things rugby. We've got Irish content, South African content. We've got the Women's Treehouse. Julia, did y'all do a new ep earlier?
No, but I don't have an update on that, but I have been checking, is the diplomatic
Okay.
answer.
Okay. I thought I
It's
saw it on the
coming.
schedule, so I was just
I
curious.
know.
Um, Plus, of course, we've got the URC Rewind, and so much more. Do yourself a favor, check all of it out, and help us spread the word. We really do appreciate all of you. Meanwhile, over in jolly old England, the PWR was on to round 3, where Sale Sharks went down heavily to the resurgent Trailfinders, 22-64. Youch. Gloucester Hartbury remained unbeaten after true tries in the final quarter of play brought them
But it
a
was
26
such
to
a good
33
game.
win away at Harlequins. My Loughborough Lightning ended with the most un-American of results, a draw, 33-all with Exeter, and finally Bristol Bears looked a shadow of themselves from last week, losing to Saracens 12 to 33. Julia, what were your takeaways from round 3, and what did you see from our Eagles?
Well, first I will say, although there were no Americans competing in it, the Harlequins versus Harlequins and Gloucester was a fantastic match. If you like rugby, watch it. Unfortunately, zero Americans participating.
It was awesome.
It was super awesome. There are, I guess not. Nope, never mind. I was thinking Saracens. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, not even any North Americans. So that's great. In terms of how our Americans performed, unfortunately, that Sale Sharks performance wasn't amazing, but we've also got a bunch of, or a handful of Americans on the Trailfinders. That was fantastic. I wish I could report good things. Unfortunately, Captain Kate ended the match with a yellow. However,
That's my
fantastic
script later.
performance otherwise.
That's my script later. I saw she got a yellow, but I missed it when it happened. What was it? I because of what I know
I
about her, I feel like it was like an accidental high tackle or too many
I
defensive, and she was the one who
it
got.
was, yeah, I believe it was just too many pings,
Yeah,
too many penalties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. She was the one who
that
got
story
caught.
checks out.
Yeah. Loughborough, Exeter, while it was a heartbreaker, if you were a fan of one team or the other, it was fantastic as a neutral.
Mm.
Friend of the Global Gainline family, Hattie, was there. Apparently it was awesome until the weather started getting shitty, which it did because England.
The
However,
commentary on that match was weird.
uh that makes me sad. Ellis Martin was the player commentator, and I love her work.
Yeah.
So shout out Ellis for me.
Yeah. It
Do you
wasn't
mean the
her.
dude? Do
It
you mean the
was
dude?
yeah, it was the
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. That was
It,
special. It was
yeah.
special.
As we like to say here, not all men, but always a man.
Not always men, not all men, but this guy.
This guy.
Yeah. I was just thinking, you obviously have some sort of axe to grind about rugby tactics,
Yeah,
and you
you.
just
He
keep
had
bringing it
it.
up.
He had a he had an agenda, and then on the other side of it, didn't super duper know a lot of players, like on either
Yes,
side.
yes.
I couldn't figure out if he was a fan of one or the other, or I was like, oh no, neither. You didn't study. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So you just don't know how either of these teams play. However, pretty promising, especially, and I'm looking at their records now. They each have a draw, each have a loss, each have a win. That's gonna be fun. As I have said many times, what I like most about PWR is how competitive it usually is. I again, Gloucester really was pushed by Harlequins. Harlequins had a resurgent first half, but anyway, the last match we had was Bristol versus Saracens. The only American is Lottie Clapp, who is American. She plays for the USA team. I don't know that much about her because she mostly played for the Red Roses. So with all that said, it does look at this time, because I know this is where you're going, David, it does look at this time like Gloucester is going to continue to be dominant. However, It does look like teams like Saracens, Harlequins will probably challenge them. Trailfinders, I'm really excited about. Again, Captain
Yeah.
Kate is also the captain there. If you are on the fence, if you don't have a team you already love, it's super easy to pick up the Trailfinders because so many of their players are on socials. The club's socials itself are quite comprehensive. Give them a watch. They're a lot of fun. Super international team. They're like the Benetton ad of rugby. And then another thing, calling back to our beginning, for our UK listeners, I didn't know you guys didn't have Benetton, but Benetton was an ad from or was a brand from like the 80s and 90s, and their
United
ad
Colors of
always
Benetton.
Well,
United
they
Colors of.
have an Italian team.
Oh, there we go. And that's okay. So I've always wondered that, and I was like, I'm not going to ask anybody because they're going to laugh at me because probably
Benetton
not.
Rugby. They're the Benetton
Yeah.
of rugby.
Yeah, and then I was this close to being like, so like, do they have a lot of multicultural people on the team? They're like, no, it's like from a place called Benetton. I'm like, okay,
They
well,
have all the money in the world, though.
all the money in the world. There you go.
Yes.
Trailfinders, I don't know if they have all the money in the world or if they just recruit really smartly, but they recruited a bunch of Americans and Canadians, and it's paying off, and you can see it.
I think it's that. Kolya, you and I were both very impressed with the Bears' performance last weekend. This week was obviously much different. Should we assume the truth is somewhere in the middle?
Probably that match. I watched it. It was not my favorite match I watched this weekend.
Mm.
The draw was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That one I liked. I'm
I keep
planning
saying
to
it.
watch
Loughborough are just fun
Gloucester.
to watch, no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah,
They're just
yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah, I want to watch the Gloucester match, but haven't gotten a chance yet. But that Bristol Saracens match was just kind of boring.
It was kind of a flop. Yeah.
And a bit of a surprise, too. I didn't expect a flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't either. In terms of what happened, it seemed like it was kind of a perfect storm. There were a few early injuries, which sucked. It also felt like they never hit their stride, which is not super common for Bears, although if they do, it's usually early in the season. So okay. Sucks that it was against Saracens. I thought there was really a good chance. Obviously I still follow Bristol quite closely. Yeah, really disappointing game. But Phoebe Murray was on comms and she said as much. She was like, we're gonna have to go and analyze some tape. Don't know what happened. What a shame.
I already complained about it being a draw, but I just love Loughborough so much. Lev Kelter's second try,
getting even better
early in the second half. Oh my word. I never get tired of her and her punishing running style. Like, she has this way of making herself super compact, and like she and the ball kind of become one object, like one powerful, relentless force. And
she is
this
able
was
to
no
compress
exception.
herself like a power.
Great line,
power
great
spring.
finish.
Yes.
She's so damn good.
Yeah. The second try was great.
Yeah. I feel like it's some of the hockey experience too. There's something about her.
Yes.
It's different the way she runs, and it's just
Going
it's
into
punishing.
contact is different in hockey, but it's very complimentary. It
Right.
works. So yeah,
well,
fun weekend.
Any final thoughts on this round? It was really exciting. A couple of letdowns. I'm always bummed by a draw, but it wasn't a loss. Though, it's funny. You got one win, one loss, one draw. It's like, oh, this is okay. But meanwhile, Gloucester just like, what are you gonna do?
Yep. Next week is going to be fun. Just to run it down really quick, we're going to see Saracens face Leicester Tigers. We're going to see Gloucester face Sale. There will be a lot of Americans on the Sale team. Trailfinders versus Bears, which is going to be a lot of fun and hopefully really
That's got to be the game of the week. That's literally the next thing I had written down here. The Trailfinders versus the Bears. That's got to be the match.
Trailfinders, Bears, or Exeter Harlequins, because after the Exeter performance this last weekend, I would be very excited to see them with Harlequins.
Well, I have big question marks next to Ealing and Bristol, and I think a lot of those questions are going to be answered on Saturday.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited about.
I have a semi-related question that you might not be able to answer. Why does Ealing have different different crests for their men's and women's team?
They have different managers. Managers are owners, possibly.
Okay.
It's something about the I have to ask Hattie. It's
but like if you go to the Ealing website, everything has the men's crest on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know
Yeah,
this. I would speculate it's because Ealing has been trying the Ealing men have been
these
trying
two
so hard
different ones.
to
Whoop.
get
Yes.
into the Premiership, and they keep getting denied. They
Yeah.
keep saying, "Look,
Yeah,
we've met this next mark that you set for us," and they're like, "No, that's good, not good enough." So maybe this constant rebrand, maybe it's just a over rebranding.
it's that's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing it has
Yeah.
something to do with the men's prem, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, Loughborough have a bye next week. Sad tear. Um, Next up, our men's Eagles are off to Romania for their third and final fixture in this November series. Kickoff in Bucharest at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Kolya, what are you looking for in this test, and have you figured out where we can watch it yet?
Well, so Google AI has previewed this match
Oh
and is
boy.
reporting from the future. The USA and Romania have a history of competing in rugby union, most recently on November
Sure.
15th, 2025, when the USA won 18-3.
Hey!
If
Thanks,
that's
So,
right,
Google
I'm officially
AI.
freaked out.
All right, excellent.
so, so what, or in the real world that is not yet run by Skynet, last week, while the US was playing Georgia, Romania played Canada and Romania won,
oh, I'm so
which is
excited.
not great for us, with
Yeah.
how our last
How
match
we
against
performed
Canada
against Canada.
went.
Yeah, I was about to make a
However,
disparaging remark about Canada, but
however, Romania haven't played very much together recently.
That's
right.
right.
Like they most of them do play for that Rugby Europe Super Cup team. So
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
so they do have some cohesion there. But I'm hoping that Luke Carty starts again.
Yes.
I'm hoping we move away from the 7-1 split.
Yes.
And I'm hoping for just some good rugby where we look decent, and I hope that the US team gets the chance outside of rugby to see the brand new cathedral that was just opened in Bucharest that is just absolutely massive. That
I I heard about this in the most random
yes,
way possible. It was from my other women's sports friends, but I have two Romanian friends and they were telling me about this
yes,
massive Warning
Really?
Cathedral.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely huge. And it looks gorgeous.
I was
And
gonna
if
say the
I was going
Romanians
to
love
Bucharest,
their
I would like to
cathedral.
see it.
Is the USA team allowed to go and still maintain separation of church and state?
You know the government
Yes.
doesn't support us.
It's true. I don't think anyone's looking.
Mhm.
Okay. A couple weeks in a row, I thought about asking this. I feel like it's time. Julia, if we lose this one, do we need to have serious conversations about Scott Lawrence and this men's coaching staff? I generally like the guy. He seems to have been getting weirder the last month or so. I felt originally inspired by the whole moonshot idea, but this is a results-based business, and we have, big things on the horizon and can't be mucking around.
Honestly, yeah. You said everything that I was going to follow on with to try to soften my answer, but yes. Um, not to the extent that there are some other teams right now, international teams that are having some real come to Jesus moments, and having to make a lot of hard decisions. I don't know if it's going to be that bad. I would say it depends on how bad the loss is, but I mean, I'm looking right now at the stats head to head that thank you Eagles.rugby for actually uploading this for once. But I'm looking at the head to head, and if we aren't able to pull this off, it's time for questions.
Kolya, if you're in charge of USA men's rugby, are you considering shaking things up regardless of how things go in Bucharest?
Yeah, I made the decision that Lawrence needs to go after the Scotland match
Okay.
Mm.
I
because
didn't
that
I just
that
didn't want to be a
yeah,
shark jumper, but
yes,
I think
yes,
that it's a
that
fair
that
question.
that was just so
It was
incredibly
beyond the pale.
bad
Yeah.
that even if we win this weekend, I don't think it's savable. I think he's lost the American rugby public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Like I I
unfortunately
I
and
I I think the moonshot idea can continue, Like
Mm.
it's got its own website and all, so it could continue, but I think he has to go.
Yeah, it
Who
doesn't
we
matter.
get to
The idea is
replace
he
him,
just has
I
to.
don't know.
Well, you know what the conversation will be. Eddie Jones, because that's who they were talking about last time. And
I
Lord knows,
I
there's no way he can last in Japan.
I got into an argument with an old well, he calls himself an old rugby head. I can tell that any information that he had about rugby was from 1993 when he played. He was an older gentleman, as he kept reminding me. But he did keep saying that the only way that we can be saved is by hiring Eddie George. And I said, I don't know
Eddie
who that
Jones.
is. I said, I don't know who that is. I assume you mean Eddie
Oh,
Jones.
Eddie George was a running back for the Tennessee Titans, I think.
Yes.
I'm sure that's exactly what he was thinking of. This man who was just positive that men and women's rugby cannot teach anybody or cannot teach anything to each other. Sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely a guy who knows the game. Um, however, oh my God, there are better fish in the sea than Eddie Jones. We can't. What?
We can't.
What would we do with a catastrophe system like this, and then a bunch of players who like hate their lives?
Yeah.
So the only thing that makes me think or that makes me like the idea of Eddie Jones is he will 100% get in a Twitter fight with with our president.
He would. Okay, so I was thinking you were gonna go, okay, I didn't think of that. That's a really good idea.
That's
He absolutely would. I was worried that it would
now we
empower
have to
him.
hire him at least as a consultant, not as a head coach, but I want him in there.
He will 100% get in a Twitter fight with our president.
My problem is I think he would like kind of like him. Is that he's like, I
Yeah.
kind of like that you insist that you're right all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. They can both spend their time telling each other to punch each other in the face.
Yes.
Exactly. No, they can both
Yes.
spend they can both like high five each other and agree like these people are pussies, right? All right.
I
Cool.
swear, when Japan made the decision to hire him, on the heels of him lying outright to Australia about his plans, my sincerest dream was that Japan would go, wait a sec, wait. We don't want to hire you after all. Like you're the kind of guy who would just go on TV and internationally deny
Yes.
this thing that you're absolutely
Yes.
like we don't
Mhm.
want liars
He's a
here.
dick, dude. Like
Oh.
players have I don't I
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
this
And
is
it's not yielding. It's also not
Now
yielding any results.
now I am going to throw a name out there that I think
great. Any other name
no
is fine.
or that the American rugby public would probably not like, but I think he fits
All
our
right.
player pool right now
Go on.
and what we're trying to do if we give him full support. Toby Booth.
I was gonna say I know your ass is gonna say someone
Oh.
Welsh. That's fine. Um,
He's
I'm totally
English.
fine with that. What?
He's English.
Booth? Am I thinking of
Toby
Flood?
Booth.
Which is the one everyone likes from the Ospreys?
Toby Booth, who's English.
Okay. Okay. Welsh. That's
Formerly
Welsh
of
to me.
Ospreys. Yes.
Okay, of the Ospreys, that's Welsh to me.
Yes.
That's fine. I will air out everybody's dirty laundry. All of my group chat, which includes Hugh and Hattie, so like hosts of several Welsh
Yes.
podcasts, have all said that Toby Booth was who they wanted for
Huh.
Wales men head coach. Yes.
I think that Dave Rennie, somebing like that, and Fozzie, both those guys got shown the door a little prematurely
We will
and
not
had a
pay
lot more
Dave
to
Rennie
offer.
enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Okay, I think we all know what we're leaning towards. Bill Parcells making a comeback.
great. Great.
Okay, it's prediction time. The USA men are 5 places higher on the world table than their hosts, Romania. I suppose it's possible that we're even favorites in this one. Kolya, what's your prediction for Saturday?
25-24 USA win.
So you're going against Google.
Yes, yes, I'm going against the AI.
By the way, did anyone else get the horrible feeling that maybe that has already happened and we're just being kept on a week delay and like so things
To
can be
keep us
edited by
safe.
the time we get to
Yeah,
them?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say to
Yes.
keep our minds
Is this a
safe.
broadcast? Julia, are you penciling us in for a win?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 27-22. Us.
Oh,
Just
look
one
at us with the
unconverted.
positivity. I also will continue my streak of potentially delusional optimism. I'll say we do win this one, though just barely. I'm also going with a super close one. I'm going to say Luke Carty gets his second drop goal in as many weekends to steal it at the death 20-21 for our Eagles.
I like both of those. I'll be happy with either of those.
So before we let everybody go, Kolya, do you have a little bit of grassroots for us?
Yes, I do, and it fits with today in the United States
Hmm.
and
Ah,
the rest of
fantastic.
the
Yes, I
world
did see
with
this.
Veterans Day, Armistice Day. So the U.S. military select rugby team
Yep.
Yes.
played the British Army senior men's rugby team today.
They made a cute little video.
Isn't it still happening right now? It started at like 6:30. Dallin Stanford
Mm,
is commentating.
No, it's over. It's over.
Oh. Huh. The YouTube was
We
on at 6:30. Interesting.
Dallin
last
lied to you. No, I'm
yeah
kidding. I'm
Or I'm
kidding.
kept down the delay.
yeah
No,
yeah
Dallin was like for your.
it might be the delay. It
It's
might
the
be the
delay.
delay because it's being
David.
played in England. If it was
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, David,
Oh
that
yeah.
we're worried that actually you're on a delay and Coley and I aren't.
yes, yes. So the UK won 31-12.
Mm.
All
And
right,
if you look at the highlights, it
but not in the War of Independence. Go on.
yes, correct. It if you look at the highlights, you can tell that the US had not played together very long,
Nope.
Yeah.
and we definitely grew into it in the second half.
Mm.
And compared with our score of this match last year,
It's
we
much better.
definitely improved.
Yeah, yeah. 47-17 last year in the same fixture.
Yeah.
I think it also points to the fact that if you're in the USA military, you're probably playing football.
Yes. Great.
Well, however, our Army Navy or Army and Navy are both really good college rugby teams.
Yeah.
Huh.
For the men anyway.
So what is probably the case is they just picked a bunch of select people who are stationed in England
Yeah.
Oh
or
yeah.
stationed in Britain who have
Of
played
course.
rugby before and threw them
Yeah. Or
together.
like
Well,
or the
the
ones that are
umbrella
stationed
nature
at
of it just
NATO
being
because you can
the
just
Yeah.
bump them.
military, like as a
And
catch-all. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
and I'm going to use this to pitch another book. Martin Pengelly,
Oh yes.
English reporter,
English guy.
English English reporter,
Living
put
in Julia's
yeah,
City.
yes,
He sure is.
put out a few years ago the book Brotherhood when West Point Rugby went to war.
Yep.
I got
I
this for
inter I
Christmas
interviewed
last
him on the
year.
Scrum of the Earth about this very book. He was
Yes,
great.
Lovely.
yes. And it is really good.
And he is featured in a movie kind of based on the same thing, which is sort of this month. It has some premieres going around. There's a handful of cities. There was a city in Massachusetts on that list that subsequently disappeared from the list. So I don't even know where the closest one is. I'm not going to be able to see a screening. I'm begging him to get a copy for me somehow, but I mean, I'll set up a screening. I know how to do it. So great stuff. Great writer, great guy, really
Sounds great.
insightful.
Mhm.
Um, well, Kolya, Julia, as always, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time and insights. Any final thoughts before we call a full lid? Not to skip ahead too much, but the HSBC Sevens is back next month. Are we looking forward to it?
Very much so. Can't wait. Can't wait to see who's back.
A lot. However, I really hope that they that World Rugby changes its mind about what they're doing to sevens right now.
Yeah.
And actually
From your lips
move
to God's ears.
and move the US hosted portions back to Vegas or somewhere else that actually cares about rugby.
Yeah. Somebody
Ah,
gives a shit.
weren't
be great.
there problems with a capital P last time they were in Vegas?
Yes, but there were more people.
Yeah. The
true.
thing is, I'll take it for the people.
Like you could put it in Denver, you could put it
I mean,
that
Denver would be incredibly successful, but
yeah,
that's a different episode.
yes.
Well, speaking of the Sevens, little side note, the incredible Sammy Sullivan, she's branching out into new areas. So if you, like me, are a huge Lego guy, you'll be happy to know she's a voice actor for a new Lego feature. It's called Marvel Avengers Strange Tales, that's Tales with an I, which debuts on Friday on Disney Plus. I can't wait.
I'm very excited. I was so happy to share it with the chat when you let us know.
Mhm.
Quick teaser, we've got a couple of guests coming up in the next week or so to give us a little more inside scoop on how this November series has gone and the state of American rugby in general. Be sure to follow us on all your socials to find out more. As always, thanks to Lee, Hugh, and all the folks at The Wrap. Thanks to all of you for coming along and watching or listening. We're on YouTube. We're on all the usual platforms for audio pods. We're everywhere, frankly. And, if you can help out by spreading the word, that would be phenomenal. Until next time, from all of us, cheers, thanks to you all, and be well.